Namazwadi, however, in practice? Straight question.
See, Rahul, first of all, I'm having a little difficulty understanding what really is the question here. But so far as you questioning the credentials of the India bloc and their secularism is concerned, first and foremost, let me point it out to your viewers that BJP is a party in whose constitution, in the preamble of their constitution, they also have the word secular and socialist. Sanju is sitting here, she can very well pull it out. So far as the word secular and socialist in being included in the constitution by the is concerned, Supreme Court has given a catena of judgments saying that this is nothing not in sync with the Constitution and the principles of secularism and socialism
I'm
are part
not
of the
having a
basic
legal
structure.
debate, sir. You're hardly qualified to have a legal debate. So I'm asking you, Mr. Jain, very seriously and very straightforwardly.
Rahul,
One second. I'm asking you, why does... hang on. Why does the Congress selectively attack Hindu festivals? I'm asking you a question. Simple, please. Why does the India Alliance... Okay, fine, sir. Fair enough. You are a very learned constitutional lawyer. Okay, I rest my case. But let me ask you the pertinent questions tonight. I'm not getting into a larger philosophical debate that should be held actually by a constitutional bench of India. I'm sure they'll go into it, sir. But I'm asking you a simple... Not a constitutional bench. Not a constitutional bench. But let me just come back to you, please. Let me just ask you the most specific question. I was very specific in my question. And I'm going to interrupt if I don't get specific responses because I value the time of the viewer. I don't want the viewer to be sitting there and spun around in their seat. So I'm asking you once again, sir, simply this. You heard Mr. Hassan, you heard Digvijay Singh. You said that you have a problem when the Kanwar Yatra is used for political purposes. I don't know what you mean by that. But tell me something. One second. No, obviously everyone would. Then tell me one thing. Why do you use Eid for political purposes, hosting Eid milans, hosting iftar parties, giving them... One second. What is that?
That is precisely the difference, Rahul.
Precisely the difference, is it?
Hit it on the head. You've hit it on the head.
Oh, I've hit it on the head.
Congress party and opposition parties hold Eid parties, iftar parties to bring communities together.
Oh, wonderful.
What the BJP does is it uses Hindu festivals to create rift between the communities to target Muslims.
Let me tell you, viewers, do they hold Ram Navami parties? No, they don't hold Ram Navami parties. You'll never hear them. You'll never hear them holding Ram Navami parties, viewers. But yes, iftar parties we must hold because we are bringing communities together. Okay, second question.
No.
Fair enough. You're saying that you do it for... Okay, so you do it for...
What do they do?
Sir, you do it for... Okay, one second, Mr. Jain. Just a minute. So you do it to bring communities together in exception. You only celebrate the festivals of one community in the exception because you believe that they become... Sorry?
Rahul, hold on. Diwali party nahi hota hai kya? Have you not been to a Diwali party held by a politician? I'm sure you've been.
I've never been.
I've never been.
I
don't know why. Rahul, you are a very senior anchor.
But I've never been.
I don't know why you have not been invited to
one. Sir,
but politicians...
The same reasons why... Because maybe I'll ask a couple of very tough questions. Anyhow, my point is this, and it's a very straightforward point. It's a very straightforward... Sir,
but then the BJP should be inviting you to the Diwali party.
Sir, name me one. Sir, name me one, Mr. Jain. I'm not the subject matter of the debate here. Okay, you want to make me? I'm very happy. Which just tells me that you don't have a response for my straightforward question.
I have.
And let me then ask you the question again. Maybe you didn't hear it. Since you said you couldn't understand it, let me try to bring it back and make it more comprehensible for you. So let me take responsibility for not making it comprehensible for you. So now let me make it comprehensible for you, Mr. Jain. Mr. Jain, a very simple question. And I want to ask you this. The India Alliance has leaders who compare Sanatan Dharma to an epidemic and a disease. This is on record. The Supreme Court has also taken note of it. Show me one leader from the, show me one leader from the India Alliance that has used the same words, and I don't want to repeat them. Don't force me to repeat them. About any other faith. Show me one.
Rahul, first of all, I condemn any statement made against any religion by any politician, whether it is some leader in the India Alliance making a statement against a particular faith, or whether it is a leader in the BJP party, which calls Hindu Dharam and Muslim Dharam both problematic names. I'll find you the name of the leader. I'm not remembering right now. Give me 10 minutes. I'll find you the name of the BJP leader who said things in the past which were very problematic about the Hindu faith and the kind of things that they keep on saying about Sikhs and Muslims, with them being Khalistanis and terrorists, this and that. That is an everyday occurrence. I think all of your viewers as well know.
Just a second.
Let me answer you on the Digvijay Singh statement.
No, I'm asking you. In your alliance, you have partners who say nasty things about and I'm not just talking about DMK. I'm talking about the RJD also. What they have said about Ramcharitmanas. You have the Samajwadi party leaders who've said nasty things about expunging tracks of the Ramcharitmanas. But no one has ever talked about tracks from other holy books. No, I'm asking you, sir. This is selectiveness,
Rahul,
or is this inclusivity?
No, I'll tell you what it is.
Is this upholding secularism?
Hold on. Hinduism is a different faith from the Abrahamic faiths.
Oh,
there is no single one
so you should abuse
holy book like a Quran or a Bible. No, not
so you
at
should
all
abuse
the point.
it.
No.
So you should call it dirty names.
No.
You should partner with people who want to, who want to micturate. No, 1 second, who want to micturate. No, 1 second. On Hindu idols, it's okay.
Flexible.
No, so you will defend people. No, you will defend people who micturate, who say that they want to micturate. Please understand what I'm saying on Hindu idols. That's okay.
See, that is not at all okay. Anybody who said that.
Well, then why are those people still your allies?
Why are similar people still in the BJP party?
Okay, see, now viewers, this is where the whataboutery begins. Why are they there? As if that justifies two wrongs don't make a right, viewers. And this is the problem with the Congress party. 1 second, now you answered my question. You answered 4 questions. No, you don't answer a question honestly. You start talking about the BJP, you start talking about the anchor, you start talking about everything else except for taking responsibility for members of your alliance. Why are they sharing a stage with people who advocate Sharia in this country? Imarat-e-Sharia. What does that mean, viewers? They share a stage. Is that secular? Is that secular?
Imarat-e-Sharia does not advocate Sharia law in the
Oh,
country.
I see. Have you read their constitution? Have you read their constitution? Okay, if you did, sir, then you know the first paragraph of their constitution. What does Imarat-e-Sharia mean? What does the word mean?
I am not a Persian scholar.
Oh, you're not a Persian scholar. You see, viewers, this is the problem. Lashkar-e-Toiba, don't associate religion with terror. Then you ask them, what does Lashkar-e-Toiba mean? And they say, we don't understand Persian. It's not even Persian, by the way. Anyhow, let me just open this up. Sanju Verma needs to come in here. Sanju Verma, they are accusing you of basically using this Kavar Yatra to polarize Hindu society. And they are saying that you are doing these checks on individuals who hold or operate or own stalls near the Kavar Yatra route because you want to create only a Hindu corridor. You don't want anyone else to sell food, items, etc., who are from other faiths to the Kavar Yatris. And this, they claim, is a form of religious apartheid. So could you respond to this gentleman?
First and foremost, it's very, you can only be on the wrong side of Rahul Shiv Shankar at your own risk. So let me come straight to the point. That was on a lighter note, because I think Nikhil Jain was making zero sense and Rahul took him to the shredding machine. I have a simple point to make, without only, not focusing on the Kavar Yatra. The larger thing is this. This entire secular or pseudo-secular brigade from the Congress, the Samajwadi party, the RJD, I fail to understand why is it that Sara ka Sara bhashan on what Hindus should do, whether loudspeaker should be played during Kavar Yatra procession, yes or no, Shivji ka abhishek ho, to doodh Shivling par, abhishek hona chahiye ya nahi. Why is it that Hindus are always given bhashan? Why this moral grandstanding by parties? Recently Devendra Fadnavis has now said no loudspeaker, no azan from loudspeaker, no namaz from loudspeaker. There is a loudspeaker app. If you want to play azan, namaz, use the loudspeaker app, but not blaring it from microphones so that you disturb others at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Be it as it may, my limited point is this, Rahul. If you notice, there is a very important judgment which is related to the topic you are discussing. 29th May 2025, the Karnataka High Court stayed the Siddaramaiah government's decision to withdraw 43 criminal cases against people belonging to Anjumane Islami who were responsible for the Hubli riots. The Karnataka High Court in that stinging judgment of 29th May 2025, barely a few weeks back, also said it is looking to deliberate upon another case related to the PFI where 175 cases and 1,600 people were allowed to go scot-free by Siddaramaiah within 3 weeks of taking oath. And the Karnataka High Court said, be it Hassan, be it Shivamoga, be it Mysuru, be it, any other place. Why is it that lawlessness is being upheld by the current Congress dispensation?
Okay.
Siddaramaiah had no answers. And Nikhil, I want to touch upon this entire pseudo-secular thing without being verbose. 1.5 years back, the Supreme Court put a stay on Siddaramaiah's decision to classify the entire 12.97% Muslim population of Karnataka as OBCs. 12.97% Muslims means 89 lakh Muslims in Karnataka were suo motu declared OBCs by Siddaramaiah. No less than the Supreme Court had to intervene. You withdraw cases against Anjumane-Islami and PFI, the Karnataka High Court has to step in. My limited point is the judiciary has to step in because under the garb of secularism, Hindu phobia is being upheld with brazen impunity.
That's the point that she's making. That's the point. She's saying that you take the cover of secularism, but you actually promote Hindu phobia. Some others in Sanju Verma's party call this Namazwadi. And I have to ask you, and let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, how applicable is this term Namazwadi to the India alliance, or is it a deliberate coinage by the BJP to try and rally its vote bank, its predominantly Hindu vote bank, by obviously labeling a political party as being favorable to the minority community, in this case, the Muslim community?
So, Rahul, the problem here is, why is it every time the BJP levels the Namazwad accusation at the opposition, it always seems to stick? See, the problem here is, if they were truly secular and things like that, then it wouldn't stick. Now, nobody would believe it. Why is it become potent? There is clearly no smoke without fire. Let's take this particular case itself, where the Kanwariya Yatra is being compared. Do you know the kind of purity rules that Kanwariyas have to observe even amongst themselves? There is all kinds of purity rituals. You forget about, Muslim shops and Muslim names and things like that. Even with their own family and things like that, they're not allowed to maintain any contact. This is like the Sabarimala pilgrimage that happens in the south. You're not allowed to have sexual relations. You're not allowed to shave your beard. You're not allowed to eat onion, garlic and things like that. You have to walk barefoot if you're a true believer and things like that. There are very strict rules to be followed out here. Now, it is entirely up to them. Are you going to say that you can't put halal certification on a restaurant? You're not allowed to put it. Because technically, what is sauce for the goose should be sauce for the gander. So a Kanwar has every right to decide, just like a Muslim family has every right to decide if they want to eat halal or not. But according to them, putting halal certification is perfectly secular. But apparently demanding the same for Kanwariyas is not. Why not? Generally, with all public events, you are meant to have catering anything really. It is tailor-made to that particular event, especially when it is an economic generator like the Kanwariya Yatra is. So what do you do? Now, I would totally understand this if they applied the same rules. The problem is that it is always different rules for different people. Today, something is secular. Tomorrow, this is like, the Bal Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena. As long as they were with the BJP, they were very secular, very unsecular, very communal, rioters, whatnot. Suddenly, they go with the Congress and you have no less than the New York Times saying that they're a secularist party. Do you read that obnoxious op-ed which labeled them a secularist party.
Yes.
This after they were screaming about them for the Bombay riots, even made a movie, Mani Ratnam even made a movie about it called Bombay and things like that with Arvind Swamy and Manisha Koirala and whatnot.
No, and they still come out and say that we are very proud of bringing down the Babri Masjid.
They are.
And they say it. But the Congress has no problem fighting elections with them, aligning with them.
Now the Congress, we need to understand, has a shrinking vote base. All it is aligned to is basically 2-3 small communities. And there is intense competition between all of them, the Samajwadi Party, the RJD and the Congress for the exact same voter demographic. Therefore, they are out competing each other to go well ahead. To this date, Rahul Gandhi has not, he has something to say about everything. Show me one place where he has personally come out and said anything about Udayanidhi Stalin wanting to exterminate Hindutva, Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. He didn't even say Hindutva or whatever. He said Sanatana Dharma. Show me where Rahul Gandhi has come out and said anything against Udayanidhi Stalin.
No, not.
Nothing. But for them, I will ask Nikhil Jain and Mr. Abbas, was what Udayanidhi Stalin said legit? And why is Rahul Gandhi not speaking up about it? Simple question.
Especially when the Supreme Court has even called upon the state government to go ahead and file cases against those that insult the Hindu faith, and in the context of this one. But before Mr. Jain answers that question, let me just bring in Mr. Abbas on a more fundamental question that has been raised now by both the BJP national spokesperson and Mr. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and I raised it in my introduction. And that question is, what is the problem with Hindus wanting to protect the sanctity of their religious festivals? So, if they are demanding that they want a corridor where they are served kosher food made by Hindus, for Hindus, especially because there are so many restrictions about complete kosherness of what they eat, etc., etc., why is it so much to ask? When you have halal certification in this country, then no one asks. When halal certificates are only given to those who employ Muslims to package the food. There is that degree of so-called religious apartheid built into the halal certification business. But here, it becomes a weapon. So, Mr. Abbas, do Hindus have a right to protect the religious, the sanctity of their religious festivals, yes or no? If they don't, the argument ends, the debate is over.
Firstly, Rahul Sahab, my Hindu brothers, be it Kavadi Yatra or taking their rallies, procession, they have all rights and reservations to practice accordingly and the way they wish to, and we must all celebrate and stand with them on this purpose. Also, as a matter of fact, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, my dear friend, raised a very important question with respect to Udayanidhi Stalin. I believe it is sacrosanct upon every Indian belonging to this beautiful country to unequivocally, unconditionally condemn his statement. My best friend happens to be a Hindu, and today, if I do not raise my voice against his statement, he will question me. The fact of the matter, Rahul Sahab, I've always believed, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, समझो अपनी शान को, मजहब की दीवारों में ना बांटो हिंदुस्तान को, ना मैं हिंदू बनूं ना तुम मुसलमान बनो, मैं भी इंसान बनूं, तुम भी इंसान बनो. Be it Rahul Gandhi or be it any leader of the India Alliance or any political party must and should raise their voice when something so condemnable has been spoken. Now the next point, you mentioned precisely about Kavadi Yatra.
No, so just 1 minute, just stop there. If you believe this to be true, if you believe that Rahul Gandhi should raise his voice and tick off Udayanidhi Stalin, can I ask you, why hasn't he done it? Secondly, why hasn't he ever ticked off the Thakres when they have praised Veer Savarkar, the man Rahul Gandhi has gone on record to say was the greatest communalist, the divider-in-chief of India, and most importantly, the Hindu Jinnah? Why do you think he has not done this?
I truly believe that Udayanidhi's statement was a paradigm shift of what they call Nafrat Ka Bazaar. That is exactly what he spoke. Therefore, Rahul Gandhi must and should have opened his Mohabbat ki dukaan.
No, but one second. Mr. Abbas, you made a very intelligent point, and I respect your point. I respect the fact that at least you have risen above party lines. Mr. Jain hasn't shown that alacrity, but you have. You have said that this is highly condemnable. and Rahul Gandhi should have condemned it. These are your words, not mine. So why do you think a person who believes in the letter of the preamble, which is secular, whose grandmother inserted it under the cloak of emergency, hasn't come out and told his partner in no uncertain terms, in public, we do not accept this statement, Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, apologize. Why hasn't he done this?
In fact, Rahul Sahab, you and all my friends of the panel will appreciate pragmatic politics. To keep the India alliance in order, there is pragmatism and it's plain.
So, to keep your vote bank, your prospects alive.
No vote bank.
Okay.
Alliance.
So to keep
Alliance.
your prospects alive, you will go to any extent. Then why do you blame the BJP?
Nobody's blaming the BJP here. I'm blaming
No,
Rahul
because they are.
Gandhi.
Digvijay Singh and company are. So you have now accepted that this is pragmatic.
It is.
Pragmatic.
It is pragmatic
to
politics.
be silent,
Isn't
viewers,
it?
when somebody
Isn't it,
goes
Rahul
out
Sahab?
there. Okay, 1 second. It is pragmatic to be silent. Then viewers, why do they expect Modi to speak up on this issue and that issue? Why do they expect Amit Shah to speak up on this issue and that issue? They are also maintaining a Sphinx like pragmatic silence, it could be said tomorrow, by the BJP. So why? Big deal.
I will
Hold
answer
no
that.
one to account for hate speeches. Everyone is doing it out of an evolved sense of pragmatism. Sanju
I have
Verma,
exposed-
it is pragmatism.
Rahul Sahab, I
You know,
have exposed
Rahul-
You
Rahul
are not
Gandhi by calling
pragmatic.
him
They are so
pragmatic.
pragmatic.
Mr. Abbas, I did not interject you even once.
Please go
Rahul,
ahead.
do you remember the date? 23rd September. The year was 2017. Within a few months of demitting office as the Vice President of India, Hamid Ansari shared the stage with PFI and said, Muslims are marginalized, they are treated as third-class citizens in India, they don't have a voice. And the entire pseudo-secular brigade was applauding from the fringes. This after a man who got the opportunity to serve as the 12th vice president for 10 long years from 2007 to 2017. Be that as it may, I want to focus on one very interesting thing, taking off from what Abhijit Iyer Mitra said. He made a very interesting point on halal. Tell me a thing, Rahul. Today, the halal economy is worth $2.7 trillion, more than Italy's GDP, which is $2.3 trillion. And India alone has a halal market of $778 million. You have halal meat, halal lipsticks, halal powder, halal tea, halal coffee, halal cement, halal iron and steel.
Yes.
Can you imagine? और उसके बावजूद ये सारे के सारे सेक्युलरिटी यहाँ बैठकर बीजेपी को 24/7 भाषण देते हैं. If I say I don't want to have halal meat, I want jhatka meat, they will say Sanju Verma is communal. Now come
In other words,
to the final point. Rahul, my final point. There is this famous Indira Sawhney versus the Union of India judgment of 1992, where the Supreme Court said in no uncertain terms, reservation on the grounds of religion is not acceptable nor desirable in a country like India. What do you see Karnataka government doing? What do you see Revanth Reddy doing? They are giving reservation on the grounds of religion and doing it with brazen impunity.
I think tonight you have to give 100 out of 100 to Mr. Abbas for coming clean. He said this is all pragmatism. And Iyer Mitra, I think today, you have been able to extract the fundamental here. And the fundamental is this, that you see, viewers, when Salman Khurshid's relative calls for vote jihad and the Congress keeps absolutely silent, it is out of pragmatism. Long live the India alliance so we can come back and win election after election. When there are demands to dismantle Hinduism, dismantle, viewers, these are words that have been used by those that support the Congress party, then the silence is also very pragmatic, because why not have people try to eliminate this faith? Then there's a free run for all of us. So when, viewers, very, very clearly, you have a situation where only one faith is allowed to demand that there should be sanctity for their religious festivals, it is okay. When the other demands, you should go after them and say that you're weaponizing your faith, and you must expect everyone to accept it because you're being so pragmatic. Shocking, viewers. It is absolutely shocking.
Rahul, that is not the point anybody made.
But Mr. Abbas made that point. He made that point.
No, he did not make that point.
Oh, don't, come on. I'm ending this debate. I'm done with this debate. We've had some closure here. We've had some acceptance. And that explains so much. Let's move on, viewers. Let's move on, because there is another very big story. And this is a story, viewers, that must be told. There has been too much of a shroud of silence which needs to be pierced. Now, viewers, Rahul Gandhi holds up the Constitution of India. But his party and his political allies desecrate it under his very nose. This video is evidence. It depicts a shopkeeper being thrashed by Raj Thackeray's MNS workers. Why? Because, viewers, he is a Hindi speaker who hasn't learnt Marathi. Each slap is an assault on the idea of a plural, tolerant, one India. One would have thought that the India Alliance would have condemned this attack, but it hasn't. It is silent. Watch the remorseless intimidation for yourself. We have had to bleep out some aspects of this audio because it is absolutely gutter conversation, viewers. But listen.
क्यों मराठी बोलने का मतलब ये क्या होता है क्यों मराठी कौन से राज्य महाराष्ट्र में ना इतना मालूम है महाराष्ट्र में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है क्यों मराठी बोलने का मतलब ये क्या होता है क्यों मराठी कौन से राज्य महाराष्ट्र में ना इतना मालूम है महाराष्ट्र में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है
महाराष्ट्र में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है? The shopkeeper says सब भाषा बोली जाती है, and this is what they do to him, viewers. This is just an edited clip. This isn't, of course, the first time. This language intolerance is spiking, it's peaking, and a failed politician gasping for relevance, desperately aligning with his once estranged cousin, is leading the anti-Hindi hate brigade. In April 2025, just a couple of months back, security guard from Bihar was beaten up in Powai. What was the action? 3 MNS members were booked. March 2025, supermarket employees slapped in Warsaw because he couldn't speak Marathi. Action still awaited. December 2023, shops damaged over non-Marathi signage. 9 MNS workers were arrested in Pune. The irony is that Hindi speakers are the biggest minority in Maharashtra, and therefore, viewers, it stands to reason that there are other languages that are spoken in Maharashtra, and I'll even give you the breakup. 18 lakh from Uttar Pradesh live in Maharashtra, 6.3 lakhs from Gujarat. Karnataka also has a sizable representation. Rajasthan slightly lesser. Bihar. Rajasthan, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh make up nearly 25 lakh Hindi speakers, which is around 13% of the population according to the 2011 census. And I'll show you that graph also. That number has risen astronomically over the years because the last census, viewers, as you know, was in 2011, more than a decade ago. Marathi speakers are almost 69% according to the census data. Hindi speakers are almost 13%. Urdu speakers are 6.5%. And the rest follow. In fact, as opportunities have grown with a burgeoning economy, Marathi speakers are also migrating in droves to other parts of the country. India is a melting pot where ordinarily identity is not a disqualifier. So, viewers, in Karnataka, there are about 20 lakh people from Maharashtra. In Madhya Pradesh, about 12. Gujarat has 9. Andhra has almost 7. Goa has 1.5 lakhs. Chhattisgarh has, again, just short and shy of a lakh and 1.5 lakhs. Delhi has a small percentage. Pretty much every state in the Indian Union. But under India Alliance, incidentally, one of the I's in the abbreviation stands for inclusive. Identity is becoming a curse, viewers, especially if you are from the Hindi belt. Whether it's in Tamil Nadu, whether it's in Karnataka, whether it is now increasingly in Maharashtra, and this raises questions. Is the India Alliance just another mask for majoritarian bullying? Let's open this up, viewers. Let's ask some straight off the bat questions. And the first person I really want to speak to, and let's get a sense really, is the shopkeeper who's going to be joining us. And he's there on our screens. Namaste भैया, आपका वीडियो हमने देखा. आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? भैया आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
आ रही सर.
आ रही है. तो हमने आपका वीडियो देखा, आपके साथ जो हुआ बहुत दर्दनाक है. मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूं कि क्या आपने कुछ उनको उल्टा बोला, कुछ गलत बोला कि उन्होंने आपको इतने थप्पड़ मारे? कुछ आपने प्रोवोक किया उनको? क्या हुआ वहां?
नहीं सर, हमने कुछ उल्टा नहीं बोला. हमने तो है ना, एक्चुअली उन्होंने 3 ही सवाल पूछे मेरे को. उन्होंने बोला कि आपकी दुकान महाराष्ट्र में कहाँ है? तो मैंने बोला महाराष्ट्र नहीं. उन्होंने बोला कि आपकी दुकान कौन से स्टेट में है? मैंने बोला एक काम करो, हमारी दुकान महाराष्ट्र में है. तो उन्होंने उसके बाद में बोला एक काम करो, महाराष्ट्र में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है? तो मैंने से बोला कि एक काम करो, महाराष्ट्र में सभी प्रकार की भाषाएं बोली जाती है. तो उसके बाद में है ना, इतना बोलने के बाद में वो लोग है ना 3-4 जन है ना सीधा है ना मारने ही लग गए.
तो आपने क्या किया उसके बाद?
उसके बाद में हमने ना 12 घंटे के बाद में जो काशीमेरा पुलिस चौकी में जाके कहने का मतलब FIR करवाया.
हाँ, तो पुलिस वालों ने रजिस्टर किया केस?
हाँ, पुलिस वालों ने FIR दर्ज कर लिया है और उसके बाद में उनको बुला के भी लाया है
इन लोगों
और
को.
एक बार सुबह लाया था और वापस शाम को उनको छोड़ दिया है. और दूसरा भी कल के भी हमारा भी हम मेरा भाईंदर के व्यापारी और जितने भी व्यापारी है तो वो सब हम लोग है ना कल मिलके CP साहब को है ना जो भी हमारा आग्रह करेंगे उनको मिलने के लिए रैली का थोड़ा प्रोग्राम रखा है. तो कल सब हमारे जितने भी मेरा भाईंदर के व्यापारी मेरा भाईंदर बंद रखे और हमारे को जो भी है ना न्याय दिलाने की गुहार लगाएंगे.
चौधरी साहब, थैंक यू, हमारे से आप जुड़े, आपने अपनी परिस्थिति हमारे को बताई. थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने हमें ये भी बताया कि कल आप एक पिटीशन लेके जाएंगे और थोड़ा सिक्योरिटी डिमांड करेंगे. थैंक यू. नमस्ते. आप
आगे जाके
हाँ जी,
आगे जाके हमारा जो धंधा है मिठाई स्वीट का धंधा है.
हाँ.
और ऐसे हम लोग है ना 20-25 साल से मेरे रोड में हमारा 2-3 मिठाई का स्वीट के नाम से शॉप है. और हमको अभी है ना खतरा लग रहा है, दिल में ऐसा लग रहा है कि अभी हमको ये धंधा करने नहीं देंगे. और हमारे ऐसे दिल में है ना ऐसा अहम बैठ गया है कि एक हमारे को ऊपर खतरा है. इसलिए हम फुल CP साहब को जाके आग्रह करेंगे कि हम व्यापारी है, हम लोग सीधे साधे प्रवासी है, हम बिजनेस करते हैं और हमको आप है ना जो भी है ना कानून न्याय दिलावे और हमारे है ना आगे भी ऐसा नहीं होवे. आज मेरे साथ में हुआ, कल दूसरे के साथ में नहीं होवे और इसके लिए हम प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए. और जो हमारे साथ गलत हुआ तो उनको है ना हमको न्याय दिलाने की गुहार करेंगे.
ठीक है, थैंक यू. आप हमारे से जुड़े, हम आपका केस भी आगे ले जाएंगे. हम भी पुलिस पर प्रेशर दबाएंगे कि आप लोगों को सिक्योरिटी जाए. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू. आप हमारे से जुड़े, थैंक यू वेरी मच. अपना ख्याल रखिएगा. Viewers, let me open this up. Let me ask a few direct questions now. And we have CS Jha, leader of the Shiv Sena of the Uddhav Thackeray branch. Now, Mr. Jha, is the MNS a party of goons, communalists, people who want to get rid of outsiders from Maharashtra? They are repeat offenders. Would you say that they are the most intolerant party right now in the country?
The intolerance to a party was previously connected with the BJP and now it is connected to us. So we don't seem that it is an intolerance. But eventually, I would like to say something because in a region, the basis of the language is the local language. And if you stay in that region or a state, the local language stands in a front foot than any other language. And if you are staying in a state for 10, 12 years, 15 years or 20 years, you should learn the language because local administration, even the villagers work on that language. So that language is your first priority rather than going on for national language.
One second. CS Jha, 1 second. CS Jha, 1 second. 1 second. Let me ask you a specific question here. You say that Hindi should not be imposed, right? But you are the first people. One second. You're saying Hindi should not be imposed, right? That's why you celebrated the fact that the order that was passed by the Maharashtra government was withdrawn, right? Yes or no?
See.
Yes or no?
Language.
Yes or no? No, the reason I'm asking this question, viewers, because CS Jha is not going to answer this because he knows what's coming. But they want to impose Marathi.
Rahul, when will you ask Sanju the right question?
One second. Her Hindi. 1 second, Mr. Jain. Why are you jumping? Why are you jumping? Why are you jumping in the middle? Am I asking you a question?
Really do not understand.
I'm going to lower your fader. I'm counting till 3. 1, 2, 3. Please, I'll come to you. I'm asking Mr. Jha. He's old enough. He can answer for himself. He doesn't need your crutch. He doesn't need your help. Okay, I'm asking him a question. He's the one who's saying that if people are living in Maharashtra, they must definitely be able to speak Marathi. That is what he's saying.
Yes, naturally.
Naturally. Now, the question is, so you are saying that Marathi can be imposed, but Hindi cannot be imposed. Right?
See, it is not the question of imposition.
Secondly, viewers, it is clearly, you have to learn the language where you are living.
Because if
now,
the administration
1 second, viewers,
works,
this is a bizarre conflation. Let me open this up. Okay, we'll go with this premise, sir. I am not tearing anyone's hair out of their heads. So let's go with this premise. So let me just bring in one second.
That's a cruel
One
joke
second.
with two
Let
bodies
me
on
just
the
bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, he says that if you're living in Maharashtra, you have to learn this language, come what may. Beyond a reasonable point in time, you have to learn this language. Otherwise, sorry, wrap up and probably go.
So then let's extend this to religion as well, right? What prevents you from extending it to religion? There are the fringes of Maharashtra which speak different dialects and things. So should you also speak those dialects? So Marathis shouldn't have the same tomorrow. Since the Congress, basically all Indie allies, the Congress government in Karnataka has been saying Kannada first, beating down any signs in Hindi and things like that.
No, that's a very good point. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, there's a whole clash over Belgaum district. We all know. That is part of Karnataka.
Belgavi, Belgaum, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, Belgavi, right. Belgaum, whatever you want to call it. Now, why doesn't the Congress, if it is so worried about language supremacy, Hindi, this, that, the other, the native language should be preserved, then why doesn't the Karnataka government give up its claim over Belgavi? Give it back to Maharashtra?
They should give it back to Maharashtra. And the very surprising thing is, the Shiv Sena, UBT and Raj Thackeray are not asking for it back as vociferously as they are, as their thugs are going around enforcing this. If only we saw half the enthusiasm for them to get back Belgavi that we see from these thugs going and slapping this poor man. Udhar kuch nahi karenge. Why? Because it is a Congress government out there. The moment the government changes, you will see there is a big change in attitude also.
Shocking.
So, we are just continuing from the last debate to quote the previous, the panelist in the previous panel. This is all pragmatism, quote unquote.
Yeah, pragmatism.
You kare to pragmatism, aap kare to communalism.
Can I come in?
Yeah, 1 second. Mr. Jain will then get very worried that I'm asking you the question.
The last billing to BJP.
But let me ask you, since he said, no, I'm going to ask you, Sanju Verma, because I know what he's saying. Hum to power mein nahi hai. We wield power behind the throne without responsibility, so kahin power mein nahi hai, but that's a different matter. The point is, Sanju Verma, you're in power. Why is this happening? They will say, under your state, I must shred you to bits because you have prevented the MNS from, you have not prevented the MNS from slapping people.
So, is this question for me now?
Yes,
I thought Nikhil Jain will do the honors.
No,
first.
I'm asking you in his voice, in his booming voice. Yeah.
Okay. So, Rahul, let's get the facts straight up here. the Raghunath Mashelkar committee on the 18th of September 2020, when Uddhav Thackeray was the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, submitted a draft resolution proposal saying that Hindi should be made mandatory from class 1 to class 12. Mind you, from class 1 to class 12. Yeah. On the 16th of October 2020, when Uddhav Thackeray was still very much the Chief Minister, he adopted the Mashelkar committee recommendation and a government resolution GR was passed. Hindi in Maharashtra is mandatory from class 1 to class 12. On the 16th of April 2025, the Fadnavis government passed a GR. All it said was that Hindi will be a third language from class 1 to class 5 only. Hindi will be the third language from class 1 to class 5 only as per the GR of 16th April 2025. Now that GR has been revoked, the Fadnavis government 48 hours back appointed a committee under Narendra Jadhav, a former member of the Planning Commission, a former Vice Chancellor of one of the most reputed universities in India, to formulate a language policy. But this is for Raj Thackeray. I've tweeted about it, and Maharashtrata Raj Thackeray यांचा एकही आमदार नाही. राज ठाकरे यानी महाराष्ट्राचा राजकीय प्रासंगिकता गमावली आहे. आपण गुंडागिरीला पाठिंबा देऊ नये. What does this mean? Raj Thackeray does not even have one MLA in the Maharashtra Assembly. Yeah. Raj Thackeray has lost his political relevance. Let's not condone Gundaism. मैं तो पंजाबी भी कह सकती हैं. I can speak English. मुझे ओडिया भी आसुची. ओडिया कहबा जानिची. I can speak many languages. I'm a polyglot. I speak Bengali, speak Odia, speak Hindi, speak Gujarati. You know, it is because, you know, there is that burning desire. Why shouldn't I learn more languages to connect with people? Why make this into a parochial issue of you versus us? But my final point is this, and I would like to read a tweet by Milind Deora. I think he captures this very effectively, where he says, he's posted this: the UBT-backed Mashelkar committee recommended making Hindi compulsory from standard 1 to 12. In Worli, it's Kencho. In government, it's Hindi. But Marathi and the Marathi Manus matter to them only in opposition. Double standards and how? Matlab, Worli, because you have a Gujarati population, Aditya Thackeray will go there. He's an MLA from Worli. He'll say, Kencho, bhai.
So basically, what are we setting up?
हमको तो गुजराती पसंद नहीं है, हमें हिंदी पसंद नहीं है, हमको सिर्फ मराठी चाहिए. You guys are a bunch of hypocrites.
What are we setting up to do, viewers? By the logic of Mr. Jha, if you have to live in a place, you have to learn the language naturally, he says. So the people, the Marathi people who are living in Tamil Nadu must learn Tamil tomorrow. That could be the rationale. And if they don't, they can get out. So that means that 0.25 lakh, 27 lakh Marathis will have to return from Tamil Nadu. Goa 1.59 will have to return. Andhra Pradesh 6.75 because they can't speak Telugu. Gujarat, well, maybe there is some contiguity there. Maybe they do by default speak, but they will also have to return if they don't speak and write in Gujarati. And especially Hindi, you will have to return from a large number of places in huge numbers. Meghalaya, you will have to come back if you can't speak the local language there. That's the basic thing. But Mr. Jain, I have to ask you a question. I'm not going to ask you anything about law, order. You're not obviously in government there. One about the hypocrisy. That when you were in power, you were willing to go along with the Mashelkar committee recommendations. I was going to come to that for you, but since I have been prefaced, I'll keep that question, retain it. And the other question is, you're going to Bihar and you want to be the party in power there and you think you're going to win the India bloc. Are you going to say that we slapped around people from the north because they speak Hindi there in Maharashtra? Is that what you're going to do in that? What name are you going to, with what face are you going to ask them for their vote, these Hindi speakers?
Rahul, I don't understand what is it that you're trying to impute with this debate. MNS is a fringe party. I think Sanju and I would have
hang on.
agreement on that.
Are you sure that they're not tying up with UBT?
Are they?
They are sharing the stage. They put out an advertisement in all the newspapers that in the next few days, if they tie up with the UBT, I'm asking you, if they tie up with the UBT tomorrow, will you disband the India alliance in Maharashtra? Simple question.
I am not the Congress party.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going
not.
to
Now,
tell you
how
what
very
we are going
easily,
to disband
viewers,
or not
he deflects the
disband together.
question. I'm asking you in principle.
point is,
In principle, should they?
MNS
Then,
is
okay, hang on. 1 minute. No. I'm coming to this. Very important.
No, but why you not
Since the
just
MNS,
let me complete
since,
on the,
one second,
let me
Mr.
complete
Jain.
on the important
Mr.
point that I
Jain,
was trying to make.
one second.
Let me complete on the important point that I was trying to
This
make.
is the important
In
point.
Sanju's entire monologue, she's not answered why
said,
is such a law and order situation there in Maharashtra in the first place. The chief minister is of the BJP, the home minister is of the BJP.
Okay.
Shinde Sena's person is
Viewers-
the MOS home for rural.
Viewers,
Viewers,
what about tree again? I'm asking you a
This is not
question.
whataboutery.
There are two
This is
questions.
not
You have a
whataboutery.
problem with
This is
people in your
whataboutery.
state since the Congress party. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. Keep your ears open. I'm not asking you for much more of a favor.
I've been keeping them open for 18
Then I'm
minutes in the
asking you a
debate. You're not
question
getting
and you
it.
must answer it. You yourself have taken a position
When will
against
you ask
MNS.
questions of the BJP? When will you ask questions
Mr.
of the
Jain,
government?
Mr.
Ask
Jain,
them why
Mr.
is
Jain,
there such
Mr.
lawlessness
Jain,
in
Mr.
Maharashtra?
Jain had a case.
Ask Devendra Fadnavis, ask BJP, ask
Mr.
Sarju
Jain,
Verma.
Mr. Jain, had there not been a case filed against these people, have they not been booked under the section of the law? Had that not happened, I would have raised Cain. Okay, I would have taken the BJP to the cleaners.
In Karnataka,
The
during
law
the
is
Karnataka
following.
stampede, all of
Excuse
that was
me.
done. You still took them to the cleaners. You still
What are you
wanted to take
talking
Congress
about,
to the cleaners.
Mr. Jain?
God.
What are you talking about?
What?
Are you
Nikhil,
playing the
stop
victim
making
here?
every
I
time
took
an
a
incident-
hugely
No.
hard
Allegations
position.
at the
Again,
BJP.
viewers, again he's attacking the anchor. Have I attacked him? No, I've
No,
not
I'm not
attacked
attacking
him.
the
I'm
anchor.
keeping this
I am
completely
asking
above
you,
board.
why are you
I'm
not
asking you
asking questions of
specific.
the
I have
government?
asked questions of the. When the stampede happened, I asked questions of the BJP. When the stampede happened in Karnataka, I asked questions of
You're not
the
asking
Congress.
questions today.
Anyhow, I've asked them. They've said, I asked the man himself.
Nikhil,
A police
are you
complaint. What do you want me
alive?
to do? What should the What should the BJP do?
BJP,
What
why
should-
is there such a law and order situation in the state that they're ruling?
So people
Why
come
do
and they
these
whack out
goons feel
people. There should be a
empowered to
police
blow
officer.
ban
Excuse me. Should there be a police officer everywhere? What kind of illogic nonsense is
Let's
this, viewers?
not discuss
I
about
mean,
any crime
this is
then.
really
Let's
bizarre.
not discuss
One
any crime.
second.
Nikhil
I have to
speaks
ask a
nonsense
question. I'm
most
not
of the
going down
time.
this rabbit hole. The question is this simple. You want to tell people that the MNS is a bad party. Okay, accept it. It is a bad party. It's clearly a bad party. If tomorrow the MNS gets into an alliance as a person, as a principled individual citizen of this country, you may speak for the Congress, you may not speak, you may support, you may not support, but as a principled person, would you say that the Congress should continue their alliance with the UBT if they tie up with the MNS? Yes or no?
I would simply say that the Congress should make it very clear that MNS's goons can't go around slapping people for who they don't
So have they
agree
made
with.
it clear?
If the MNS
Have they made it clear?
has the alliance happened? It has not yet
Have
happened.
they even taken a position on this incident?
Let
Can
the
I quickly
alliance
come in?
happen and let then the position
Rahul,
be
can I
taken.
quickly come in, please?
Okay. So viewers, the Congress hasn't taken a position on this slapping and
Because there
beating.
is no
Silence is complicity. Silence is complicity. Silence means that you accept what you are seeing. Very quickly, Sanju Verma, the question is, this is happening under your state. Law and order has gone to the dogs.
You know, law and order has not gone to the dogs, but I just quickly want to say one thing. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee. BJP contested on 145 seats in the Maharashtra Assembly elections of October 2024. We won 132, strike rate 91%. Nikhil, you guys contested on 85 seats, won just 16 with a strike rate of 18.5%.
Okay.
You should not be lecturing the BJP.
The point is, viewers, and I want to bring back
thank you
Abhijit
to the
Iyer
election
Mitra.
commission.
Abhijit Iyer
Thank
Mitra,
you to
why
the
are we
election
seeing
commission.
this? The UBT, the Thakres, both of them, playing this aggressive Marathi first, Marathi Manus card again. They pulled it out like a rabbit from their hat. What's
Yes.
happening suddenly?
Desperation. You saw what happened to them in the last election, right? All of them, cumulatively. The Congress, the MNS, the NCP, all of them. So what ends up happening is every time they get desperate, they pull these,
Okay.
it should be rabbit out of the hat, but let's call it the rat out of the hat because that's more appropriate in this particular case.
Okay.
So these are the rats that get pulled out. You notice Hindutva is all about uniting, getting rid of caste, getting rid of all kinds of differences, at least salient differences. What do? They want to break up the Hindu vote, so they bring up all of this. One is to
And this
unify
is-
Hindus, the other is to destroy Hindus.
Yes, and this is a leader who says, viewers, we must have a census to find out who is in what proportion where so that we can safeguard their rights and their interests. So if Marathis are in X proportion, They are allowed to, and their entire culture should be preserved. But if there are people from the north, if you go by Rahul Gandhi's logic about haq, viewers, then the haq of the minorities, in this case the Hindi-speaking minorities in Maharashtra, should also be protected. Their religious freedom, their cultural freedom, their freedom of expression should be protected. Of course, viewers, that is all maintained in the exception. And let me tell you, if I were to ask any of these gentlemen, what does the India bloc stand for, they won't be able to tell me each of the words. Can you tell me? Mr. Jain, what does the India bloc stand for?
Indian National Development Inclusive Alliance.
Inclusive is the word, viewers. It is inclusive, and this is not inclusive. When the Shiv Sena, when the Senas go out and do this, they are not being inclusive. Even Gopal, even Mr. Jain will accept this fact. I'll leave it at this, viewers. I'm closing the debate. Think about that. The I in the India bloc has collapsed. It is now the Ind Alliance. I'll leave it at this.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Dalai Lama, who, remember, in some days from now will be turning 90, and he has made a very important announcement as he is in McLeodganj. He has announced that he will have his successor after his death. He says that the foundation of the Dalai Lama will elect his successor. And remember, this is also rooted in the traditional Buddhist Tibetan customs, because that's when a successor is chosen of the Dalai Lama, only after his passing. Siddhant joins me to put this into perspective. Siddhant, take us through what is the larger message behind this announcement by the Dalai Lama, and what does it mean for China?
Well, Akanksha, as per what Manoj Gupta is reporting for us, then Dalai Lama's speech decimates plans of China imposing their own man, Pancham Lama. In fact, Dalai Lama made it very clear that my succession will be after me by the trust. Dalai Lama has taken a decisive step to anchor his succession in Tibetan spiritual authority. In fact, Dalai Lama has clearly said continuation of the institution of the Dalai Lama will work on his succession. No external actor or political or religion can interfere. The process will involve consultations with the high Tibetan Lamas and deference to Dharma protectors, reject any claim by China or unauthorized actors, and its continuity with a pan-Buddhist exile-led spiritual framework. Now, top intel sources are telling this to Manoj Gupta that this statement neutralizes Beijing's narrative that the Dalai Lama's role is outdated or that his successor can be controlled through state machinery. It creates a shield around his reincarnation, rooted in tradition and institutional legitimacy.
Stay with me, Siddhant. In fact, those are breaking inputs that we are bringing to our viewers, shared by Security Affairs Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta, referring to Dalai Lama's speech and that big announcement coming in. What is the larger context? Well, it certainly decimates China's plans, imposing their own Pancham Lama. Top intelligence sources revealing to CNN News 18 that this statement neutralizes Beijing's narrative that the Dalai Lama's role is outdated or that his successor can be controlled through any kind of state machinery. I quickly go back to Siddhant, who will put this into perspective for us. Siddhant, important to also highlight why China was looking towards this big announcement, and does China even have the right to interfere in Dalai Lama's succession, given that it's traditionally rooted in the Tibetan Buddhist custom?
Well, China's position perhaps has been very clear as far as the succession of Dalai Lama is concerned, and this is exactly what Manoj Gupta is reporting, that Dalai Lama's speech decimates plans of China imposing their own Pancham Lama. In fact, China has also been trying to send this message out to the world that how they have preserved the rich Buddhist Tibetan heritage and the monasteries and the places of a Tibetan culture in the whole of Tibet, and China also always wanted to send this message out that how China can take care of the Buddhist community, the traditional Tibetan community living in China. Having said that, now top intel sources are telling this to Manoj Gupta, Akanksha, that this statement by the Dalai Lama today neutralizes Beijing's narrative that the Dalai Lama's role is outdated or that his successor can be controlled through state machinery. Manoj Gupta also says in his report that it creates a shield around his reincarnation, rooted in tradition and institutional legitimacy, making any future Chinese appointed Dalai Lama appear inauthentic. Manoj also has to say that the inclusion of consultations with Mongolian, Russian, Himalayan and Chinese Buddhist communities internationalizes the selection process and signals broad legitimacy beyond India or Dharamshala.
Right.
Operationally, it empowers the exile apparatus, Gaiden Hodrang and plus CTA to begin preparing succession mechanisms discreetly before his passing. So Manoj's report has to say that the succession process of the Dalai Lama will begin after this particular televised statement which he has made, and perhaps making it very clear that it's going to be the office of His Holiness Dalai Lama which will be choosing his successor, the reincarnation of His Holiness Dalai Lama.
You know, interestingly, Siddhant, that's also in conjunction with what the United States has been calling for. Remember, US lawmakers last year had passed a Tibet Dispute Act, which categorically stated that they will not recognize any Beijing-appointed Dalai Lama, and that this decision to have a successor is going to be chosen by their foundation. So what is the role over here of Washington, say, which is also going to be keeping their eyes on this announcement?
Well, yes, that's right, Akanksha. In fact, yesterday there was, last year, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, there was a delegation also of U.S. lawmakers which visited Dharamshala. In fact, after which they, in fact, came to New Delhi to meet the Indian government.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.